A couple weeks ago, I read this very interesting article. Zania Monet, who becomes the first AI-powered artist to debut on an airplay chart this week, is one of several AI-driven acts to chart over the past 2 months. Now, before I can give this any even deeper thought, my first reaction is a negative one. And then when I think about my negative attitude towards this initial information, my first question I bring myself is, okay, why is this a negative thing? And of course, there's the immediate answers, like, oh, AI isn't real, it's fake, you're just pulling ideas from humans online. And those are all true, but I think there's deeper reasons behind why we think those things and what attaches us to non-AI art. So here's Zania Monet's channel. As you can see, she's already at 197,000 subscribers. It's really weird and almost off-putting at first to look at. You have to wonder how many of these views are AI. I guess I don't really know the state of the internet right now. I know that's a thing. So this video here, how was I supposed to know? It's got 2.2 million views already. I mean, her voice does sound good. Now, if I heard that initially, I probably wouldn't even think twice about it. I wouldn't think that's AI. And of course, that's the whole point of AI right now, is that we're trying to get to a point where it's totally real. These comments do give me hope. This is the beginning of the end for the music industry. Are we dead ass? We all died in 2020, and this is hell. We are moving towards a dangerous path regarding AI. Why are people thinking this? Why is this everyone's initial reaction to this AI thing? You have to recognize that this 2.2 million views, this is probably not people that are sitting here saying, oh, wow, this sounds so good. It's people that are curious about how real this actually sounds. Because right now, AI is in such a new state that people, more than anything, are curious about what the boundaries are. So people are willing to give something like Zania Monet attention, which could be the reason for her massive amount of followers. And I totally understand. It's the curiosity thing. But I'm willing to bet on humanity and our connection to art and say that this is absolutely a flash in the pan sort of thing. I can't see her topping any more charts. If she does, I'm sure it's going to be bought streams. And that's me looking on the optimistic side of things. Now, I'm going to go back a couple years, 2 years ago, this thing called Ghost Kids came out. And I remember when this came out, I was really intrigued by this. Now, this is not AI. This is actually 2 artists by, I believe, the name Dougie F. and Eric Jamal. And what they've done is they've just pitched their voices and then they give themselves animals as their characters. So you can see one of them is like a polar bear and the other one's a reindeer. And I remember when this was starting to make waves because, I think they did this a lot in Japan, but there was this whole concept of like taking these fake characters and having real actors behind it. What they're doing is they're taking this digital idea and attaching it to music and trying to create a whole new sphere. Now, one can argue that there is creativity in that, but I think that the reason that this didn't take off is because there was no real connection to the artists. When people listen to Juice WRLD, they're able to picture him in his brain. When people listen to Post Malone, they're able to picture him in his brain. When they listen to Ghost Kids, they're picturing a pink polar bear and a methed out, what is that? Like I said, this wasn't AI, but you lose personalization when you're putting an animated figure in front of a real life human being. My biggest thing when it comes to listening to music is the relatability aspect. And although that can seem like a simple and obvious statement to make, it's kind of the fabric that holds music together and keeps people listening. There's a relatability to these artists where you can look at their successes or their failures or what they're going through and compare that to your own life, thus making you feel more connected to them and having the music have a larger impact on you. And that's the interesting thing about AI, because AI can write lyrics and most of that relatability does come from the lyrics. But when we are automatically aware of the fact that this was written by a computer, it immediately puts up a screen between us and that music. So when we're watching Zania Monet paired with a visualizer of a abusive lover, we don't have that same connection because this thing has never gone through that. And you might be thinking, yeah, this is all so simple. This is obvious. Why are you even stating it? And the reason I want to bring this up is because putting words to these thoughts and these initial feelings that we have about AI gives us more power over it. I think a lot of us remember when this Heart on My Sleeve, the Drake and Weeknd AI song came out and our initial thoughts towards it. I, for one, I honestly do think is kind of a banger. But I say that at an arm's length. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that the person that made Heart on My Sleeve recorded their vocals and then had an AI translator put their voices into Drake and The Weeknd, and I believe that they wrote the lyrics themselves. If they didn't, then that makes AI even more scary because the lyrics are actually kind of hard. But this really is the song that started everything. When this first came out, AI was still pretty new. It was still kind of a new frontier, and it still is. But my first thought was not, oh, they're going to manufacture entire AI artists to steal real musicians' spots in the Billboard 100 charts.
I came in with my ex like Selena, the flex, bumping Justin Bieber, the fever and left,
It's a banger. But I think what this really does expose is this fear that AI can perfectly replicate the brand of an actual artist. Now, all this being said, I think there is some interesting ways that you can utilize AI as a tool to market your music. And this might be a bit of a hot take. I know there's some real purists out there that think even what this guy is doing is wrong. But this guy's name is Kanch, and he makes shorts to market his music using AI. So I'll show you an example here. And this still even makes me feel a little bit weird, but I do, in a sense, kind of understand the why behind it. First of all, a lot of these smaller musicians do not have access to CGI animators that are able to pull something off like this. And if they were to reach out to them, it would cost an arm and a leg to do so. So if a small creator wants to have cool visuals that helps capture the vibe of their music, AI is a way they can do that. Kanch, as far as I know, is not using AI to make his music. It's more so to market the vibe of the music. And I think everyone has the right to their opinion on this. I mean, CGI isn't real, but CGI also takes work and creativity, whereas AI can pass right through that in a couple of minutes. But then a new argument arises. These small artists that are mainly doing everything by themselves can't keep up with these huge industry plant artists that are pumping out shorts constantly to market their music. These massive artists have access to CGI animators, music video editors that are able to pump out videos at an alarming rate because they can pay them that much to do so. So in an already oversaturated market, to get your name out there, it's extremely difficult without taking some shortcuts. But does this shortcut undermine the music itself? So from the marketing aspect of the music industry, I think AI tends to be a bit of a gray area. And this leads perfectly into another point I want to make, and that is the business side of the music industry and utilizing AI to get your name out there. Marketing is a form of business, and there is a lot of business to be conducted to make your way up the ranks in the music industry. I think if an artist is going to use AI to market themselves and create visuals with their shorts, they need to have the right intentions behind it. Because another huge concept that this leans into is what I call end stage capitalism. All industries are trying to get to the point where they can make the most amount of money with the least amount of work. And so when AI is being used in the music industry to the extent that is taking out the entire creative process, it becomes end stage capitalism. There's no guy in a music studio trying to write the perfect lyrics to capture the emotion. There's no producer sitting behind the desk mixing the audio, making sure everything is coming out perfect. There's no thought behind how the vocals are going to turn out because every note's going to be hit. And the imperfections that you come to love in some artist's voice, such as Future when his voice cracks or Juice WRLD when he hits a high note, that becomes non-existent. So with AI being such a new thing still, and all of us being shell-shocked by its capabilities that seem to be growing every single day, looking at it in just the music industry definitely gives you something to chew on. I think my opinion is probably pretty consistent with everyone else in the sense that I do believe that AI has some utilization opportunities. I utilize it in my business every day, but when it starts to blur the lines between art and optimization, that's where I have to step out. Unfortunately, with how the world is, in order to make a career out of your art, you do need to attach monetary value to it. But if you're able to keep the art intentional and pure, then when you're using AI to optimize the marketing or business aspect of it, I don't exactly see that as a red flag, although there's a lot of gray areas regarding that. So I guess that's my biggest takeaway for this video. A lot of you guys that watch this channel create music yourselves. That's why you guys are subscribed to me. My biggest hope for my viewers that are making music is that they don't let the business side of things affect their art. Of course, everyone wants to be able to make great art and make $1 million doing it. But when we start sacrificing what makes art for the goal of monetary success, then I can't stand for that. And that right there is what I think the biggest problem with AI is. AI has already affected so many other parts of our lives. The last thing we need it to affect is the thing that makes us human, which is art and imperfection and all these beautiful things that only the human mind can consciously display. Now, I feel like there's so much more to talk about with this, so I might make another video regarding it, but thank you guys for watching this one. Also, to my Eddie Anders crew in particular, thank you guys so much for allowing me to hit 10K. It's absolutely nuts. I mean, I just started this channel this year, and we're already at almost 15K, so I mean, that's absolutely huge. I can't thank you guys enough. I do want to get back to making more tutorials, and I do have a documentary on the way. My camera just died, and I have one sentence left in the outro. Thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you guys want more. Sal says deuces. Hope you have a great day. Peace.
I came in with my ex like Selena, the flex, bumping Justin Bieber, the fever and left,